So if you're looking for a way to turn a grill like that behind me into a smart grill, then this is an episode you don't want to miss. Today, we're going to go over the Meater probe. Stay tuned. Welcome back to another episode of AntStill BBQ. This is Anthony here, and I'm really excited to do this episode. It's really been like a year in the making, to be honest, more so like a year and a half. The missus got me the Meater probe at Christmas 2020, actually. And I didn't tell you all on the channel, but we were pregnant that year with our second child, and so we were planning on selling our house. We sold it that February. It was a very busy 2021, so that's why you didn't see a lot of videos from me during that time. But the whole time I was sitting on the Meater, just ready to use it. I could have used it before then, but I wanted to wait until I could sit down and make a video for you all to put it out. So here's that video. We're here. We're ready to, put this Meater to the test. Basically, it's a way to turn your grill into a smart grill. And the way it does that is that it measures your temperature, remotely. So it has an app. You can check the internal temp. You can check the ambient temperature of the grill. And then you can set timers on it to let you know once it reaches a certain temp to notify your phone. So really cool device. I got it. I already did the unboxing. Oops, sorry. I don't know if I should have waited. But it's like a pin. So you stick the pin or the meter, as they call it, in your meat or whatever you're trying to, measure. It has a notch on here, and I'll zoom in on this here in a second, but it has a safety notch because you want to make sure you insert it up until this point. All of the electronics are in the tip, so it measures that internal temp, and once it hits that point, you can set alerts through the app to let you know that, hey, it's reached that temp, and you can measure it remotely the entire time. So it comes with like this base station. You connect it to your phone, and basically what it does, it boosts the signal to your phone so you can stay in touch with the Meater as it cooks. Pretty simple, but it's just crazy the amount of tech that we have nowadays for everything. I mean, I have my whole security system teched out so that I could just tell Google to arm my security system. Same with my lights. We all know about Nest thermostats and all of that. So this is another thing. This is for us grillers. This is for us folks that, love tech, and we love the convenience of being able to measure or monitor a cook remotely. So that's where this comes in. So what I'm gonna do today is I'm just gonna give a rundown of my usage in the app. I already have some chicken in there marinating. I put some Traeger rub on there. I don't know if you all have used that. I got another video where I went over the Traeger rub. Feel free to check that out. But yeah, my chicken's already marinating, ready to go. My grill is already up to temp. So only thing I'm doing today is just putting my chicken on the grill, inserting the Meater, and we're gonna go through this together. And I'm gonna give you all my review of it, and we'll go from there. So let's get started. So this is what the Meater looks like. It'll come in this base station like this. And once you take it out of the docking station, you'll see this light start to flash. So that blinking green light means that you connected it to your phone. I could go through the, connecting to your phone and all of that, but I feel like that'll take too long. And they have some pretty good videos on it already. So check those out, but it'll come like this. That blinking green light means you're good to go. And then I mentioned to you all earlier that there's like a safety notch on there. See if I can get it to show up well on camera. Hopefully I can. There we go. So that's the notch right there. You'll want to insert the pin completely into your meat until you get it to this point. That just means, it's going to pick up your internal temp properly, and it's going to, basically you got it inserted correctly. So that's pretty much it. What we're gonna do now, I already have my chicken ready to go. It's already seasoned. So we're gonna go ahead and insert our Meater into our meat and throw it on the grill. But this is pretty much it. This is how it comes. Pretty straightforward, pretty cool device. So it's just Everything's getting smart nowadays. This is another rendition of that. Once you insert that into your meat, you put it on your grill. It's not gonna burn up, and you'll be able to check your temp and remotely, so you don't have to sit there and babysit it the whole time. Crazy times we're in, right? So I have the app fired up. We can see that it's operating properly. I already have my probe in, and the probe is saying that the internal temp of our chicken right now, just sitting here on the counter, is 43 degrees, which is good, which it means that it's calibrated properly. I just pulled it out of the refrigerator, so it makes sense that it's gonna be 43 degrees. It also says that the ambient temperature is 69 degrees. That also makes sense. I don't know about you all, but I like to have my house kind of chilly. And so I keep my temp around 70 to 72. And so that ambient temperature makes sense. We can go through the settings and everything. You can add devices. So you can actually have more than one probe. Let's say if you wanted, a probe in the breast as well as one in the leg, you can add another probe here. It talks about how you can get your device connected. It even has like some how-to videos. So it gives you some tips on like recipes and things like that. It breaks it down by the type of meat, beef, chicken. That's what we're going with today. But it even tells you about your previous cooks that you've done. I mean, this thing it's crazy, the times that we're in. Everything is smart. Everything moves so quickly. I remember when the iPhone came out and here we are, we're able to, link up our cooks. And so it takes a charcoal grill, what's normally a dumb cook, and it makes it smart. But that's what's so cool about this one. If we want to go ahead and get it set up, you just go to, since it says no cook setup, you click on that, and then you can set it up. So if I set up my cook, I just click on that, I click on poultry here. We're doing chicken today, and we're doing a whole chicken. I mentioned earlier, it said, 165. We know that. It gives you a breakdown. I mean, it's really some helpful tips here. So if we want to start our cook, it tells you what you need to do. Insert your probe, gives you an idea. Oh, so the groove actually must be all the way in. So I almost had it incorrectly. But that's why it has these things. You can cut this off. I think I'm going to keep this on just because I think it's a good how-to. I mean, it's a great tool. And then that's when you start our cook. It tells you to keep the base as close to it as possible to your cooker, so it stays connected to the probe, boosts the signal. You don't want to put it, on the lid because it might mess some things up. And then you start your cook. So before we do that, let's take our chicken outside. So I wanted to do one final check just to make sure my grill was temping well. And right now it's hanging out at 350, 375, which is good. I'll probably bring that temp down a little just to really let that smoke get in there well without cooking it too quickly. I'm planning on about a 2.5 hour cook for this chicken. But we have it set up offset style. So my offset smoker over there, that has all my fuel in it. So the flame will never touch our chicken. So it's gonna be really good without cooking too quickly. So let's go ahead and throw our chicken on there and see how this meter performs. All right, so now we're at the 1 hour mark, and I'm looking at my app. It's telling me that my internal temp right now is 119, and it's telling me that my ambient temperature is 281. Now, what I find interesting about it is that if you look at the gauge on the grill, it's saying that I'm hanging out around 330. So that's a 50-degree difference between what I'm seeing on the app and what I'm seeing on my grill, just in terms of ambient temperature. Now, the most important thing is our internal temp. So because we're at the 120-degree mark, we still got to get to 165. So we got a minute. And again, it's only an hour in. I haven't even looked at the chicken yet. I don't even touch it or open the grill until, about the hour mark, just to see how things are going. But, we got some time. It also gives you an estimation. So it's estimating that I have about 58 minutes remaining on here. You probably can't see it on the camera. I'll probably do a video, but yeah, it's saying I got about 58 minutes remaining, which based on what I usually do with my chicken, that sounds about right. I'm usually about 2 hours, give or take, with my chicken when I'm cooking it, 350-ish, anywhere between 300 and 400, somewhere in there. My chickens, again, usually take about 2 hours. So that's not far-fetched. But I did find that ambient temperature very interesting, that there is like a 40 degree or so, 40, 50 degree difference between what I'm seeing on my grill gauge and what I'm seeing on the app. But the whole point of it is to be able to monitor your things remotely. So that's what I'm about to do now. I'm about to go inside, probably do some household stuff real quick, and then we'll come back in about an hour and see how we're doing. So let's give it a second just to hang out a little bit more and then come back to it. So I just wanted to give you an update on where I'm at. So at the 2 hour mark, I got a notification on my phone, and it said that it was time to rest the chicken. And so it said it was about 8 minutes left, but to go ahead and remove it from heat. I didn't remove it from heat because the internal temp, it was saying it was still under that 165 mark. So I just ended up putting it a little further away from my smoker box, but still to where it could get some heat. And then I just let it sit there, and it stayed there for about another 10-15 minutes or so. And at that point, it finally hit the 165 mark, and that's when it said my cook was done. But me being me, I like mine to be a little over. I like to be, rather safe than sorry. So I let it go until 167. And so that took it about another, long story short, the whole cook ended up being 2 hours and 35 minutes. So I mentioned about 2.5 hours, give or take, a few minutes. So that was, again, right in my range for chicken. But the cool thing about this app is that you can monitor it the whole time and you get notifications. But what I would say is that, using this app, I found myself feeling like it was more of a science. And that kind of takes away the fun of grilling. So I would say when you're using it, try to just use it as a general guide of, okay, what's my internal temp? And then just trust your grill. So, of course you want to periodically make sure that the temp is well, but I found myself really spamming the app, just trying to see, well, where am I at? And I never really got to the point where I could monitor it as remote as I should. So that's my advice to you is don't make it a science. It's still an art. But we can see that, the chicken here is looking great. So let's go ahead and, break a little something off and see what we think about, our first cook with our meter. All right, so I broke off a leg. We got it here. We're ready to do our taste test. First time using the meter. Let's see what we think. Oh my God. Man. So the meat, nice and tender. Let me take a bite of this. You got to get the skin. That's some of the best part of it. So this actually got a little crisp to it. Even though we were smoking it the whole time, we didn't have it directly by the heat. It's still pretty crispy. Flavor got in there great. Of course, that smoke. That smoke is hitting. But that meter, it served us well. I mean, look, we know how to grill over here at AntStill BBQ, but the fact that we can check it on an app, I mean, it's just crazy to see how far we've come. But I mean, y'all face, my bad. But it turned out good. So hey, I'm satisfied. I'll definitely be using this meter. It's cool that you can check the internal temp, so I don't always have to probe it with my digital one. Great tool. I recommend it. Just remember, this is still art. Try not to make it too much of a science. You can see this graph that I got right here. It gives you like a breakdown of where your temp was and how it rose and fell, and that's great. But it's no substitute for just making good barbecue, and we don't necessarily need tech to do that. So I like it, but again, don't lose track of why we do this. So if you got value out of this video, if you like what you saw, if you learned something new, comment down below. Tell me what you thought. I love the feedback. I love what love to hear what you thought about the video. In the meantime, I'm about to eat the rest of this chicken. And thanks again, you all, for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Tell a friend. And look, I just appreciate you all watching the videos. Till next time, peace.